So just waiting on Matt.
All right. Let me see here. We are live.
Welcome to episode 22 of the podcast, Unlimited Wisdom with Robert Hollis. I'm Craig A. Jackman along with Matt Hollis, and we are so glad to have you with us today.
Hello,
First
hello,
of all,
everybody.
First of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us and for hitting that subscribe button with the bell to be notified when we do these podcasts as well as other broadcasts. So let's go ahead and get started. Gentlemen, Matt, Robert, great to see you on this
Hey,
Unlimited
hey, everybody.
Wisdom Day.
Thanks,
Nice to
Craig.
see you, Matt. Hi, Craig. I just want to publicly say how much I love and appreciate you guys. You guys could be doing a million things, and we consistently do these. And I just want to thank you.
Love and appreciate you too, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And Matt.
taking a week off the podcast, I've been doing like a lot of stuff myself. And I feel like, before we got on here, you guys, we've done a couple of these live in the past. And then we've also done them live for like just Imaginators and members. But we were just pitching beforehand. It's like, should we just go live and record this live to everybody? And I think we all had a collective agreement. It's like, yeah, why not? Let's just do it, And I think that that's part of like what I've caught on to with streaming is like it's so easy to think, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? How's this gonna work? All this bullshit, right? But it's
Yeah.
just so easy just to be like, nope, click start streaming, go live, and figure it out as you go, right?
Yeah.
So
I remember hearing that from one of my first mentors, Roger Penske, a billionaire. And he constantly, I've said this in many videos, but I think people, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. But that whole concept is virtually everything that you know is the exact opposite of what you think. My biggest example is if you want things to happen in your life, you need to do those things to others. You know what I mean? You got to plant before you get a harvest. Farmers know that, but other people don't. So they're just like, I don't get enough comments. I don't get enough likes. I don't get enough of that a boy. I don't get nice, positive feedback. My question to you is, are you doing it to others? And so the other thing the topic I wanted to bring up today is just how funny we are as human beings. I am so focused on what I do. And so recently, the company that we're with decided to launch a new concept in trading called tap to trade. And so they know that people mess up because they don't follow instructions. They know that people won't do it because they procrastinate. And I'm human. I'm human. I was one of the first people, like I always am, to sign up for something. So as soon as this promo came out, I signed up. That does not mean that I went to my email and found the email, which I found later under spam, and so I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, I didn't get the email, and immediately I'm in panic mode, right? And I'm like, so if you guys think it's funny that you do that, just think of this. My only upline is the owner of the company. And I even said this. I think a lot of people don't ask for help because you just know, like in school, it's like, okay, I'm the idiot. I'm the person that can't figure this stuff out. And
Yeah,
so,
of course, we should know it. By
yeah,
now, we
yeah,
should
yeah.
know all of
So
this.
immediately I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is like the whole promo's over. And now I'm reaching out to Craig, so I first reached out to Craig. Hey, Craig, can you forward me these emails so I can find them? And then I went, and then I clicked on to Josh and I'm going, wow, this is what everybody does. So I clicked on to Josh and I said, I didn't get the emails that I need to hook everything up. And he's like, hey, they're probably in your spam folder. And I was like, man, I even said this to him. I'm going like, man, whenever we do something new, you must just laugh at me because I'm like everybody else. And what else would stop you from doing it? Oh my God. What if I put in the wrong thing? And what if I do it wrong? And what if I mess up? And oh my God, I can't ask anyone for help because they're gonna think I'm stupid. it's like we just turn into these not trusting ourselves, non-confident, lack of faith and belief in ourselves to do something uncomfortable. You
Right.
know what I mean? We just immediately just go, what am I going to do? So yesterday, if you guys haven't ever been on our inner circle or our imaginators, we talked about this all last night because immediately people get into overwhelm. They are frustrated. They are confused. And it's like, so now I'm like, I take a deep breath. I actually told people I did a little bit of meditation, and for me, a little bit of prayer time just to have patience and go through. And I'm reading the email line by line, and it's like, hey, click here and create an account. And I'm going like, oh my God, can I really come up with an email address and a password? I guess I can. And then I got an email and it
And
said to
Google's like,
complete.
do you want us to do that for you? We'll autofill the username and password for you.
and then it's like, to complete your registration, click here. And it went into the back office. And I'm going like, do I really know my name? And do I really know my phone number and my birthday to, damn it, I do. And I clicked on it and I'm in. And it's like, it is funny whenever we do anything new
Mm-hmm.
that the first instincts is, fear, anxiety. Oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. I don't want to mess this up. And the thing that I see for most people, including me, is I really can't share this with other people. You know what I mean? Until I go through the process and I learn it so I can help other people. And it's like now all of a sudden you immediately are stopping from being successful because what's FOMOing me, fear of missing out, is I've shared with the whole entire group. There's people that went, I'm in, I'm trading, I'm making money. I got one guy, Jaime Morales. His second day is already in profit, $800, and I'm like going,
You're
you know.
getting some FOMO.
Yeah, I haven't even started either that same thing, Robert. And it's like great. I mean, it's great to see that somebody is actually benefiting from this program
Right.
or whatever it is that you're going to be starting from. But then, of course, it's like you want to get there yesterday.
Yeah.
Lord, grant me the patience, but I want it now. One of my old mantras that I've actually had to throw out the window because no, you got to, as you like to say, master the mundane. You have to take your time. You have to go through things step by step.
Baby steps.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I've also Matt and I've owned a number of companies that were really successful. And when he was super young, oh my God, this has
Teenager
got to
or
be
preteen?
this got to be 2001. So I mean, he's what, 32 years old, and that was
92?
23 years ago.
9? Yeah.
And so I'm selling websites, right? And me and Matt would just giggle and laugh because people would pay for the website, $500, $50 a month. This is before, MySpace or Facebook or any, when we were making bank. And they would get an email. And when they got on the email and clicked on the link, Matt finally got upset. I'll let him talk about this. But we actually found a GIF that was almost a whole website. And it would be flashing, a low red and then a bright red and a low red and a bright red. And it said, click here. Then Matt put green arrows that were moving, that were GIFs on both sides, a left and a right arrow, that were doing this. And we would get emails going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, because I think like a lot of people, they get that excitement because they've like made the decision mentally to do something that they maybe want to do or they think is an opportunity for them to do. And what they end up doing is just complicating the process with their ego. Like for me, falling back in love with learning came from a place of humility and not ego. Like I had to, when you hear people say, like, if you want to learn something, be the weakest link in the chain, like surround yourself with people that are better than you at what you want to be doing. And if that's not the case, then you're in the wrong environment. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of us love to be like the top dog or the person that everyone admires or looks up to. And there were moments in my time where I was working with people that were much better at building funnels and marketing systems and things than me, right? And I was learning from these people. And I was thinking back to that time because now I feel like I've kind of, I've learned a lot of it, but there's always more to learn. But I've learned a lot of it. And so there's now a moment in my life where I'm learning new things, and I'm looking back and going, what made me so great back then at learning? It was that humility. It was that excitement to learn, but then also that ability to get out of my own way and ask questions. And I'm even seeing this, my wife right now is learning how to do day trading and all these different types of things with the stock market, right? It's something she's wanted to do for a while, and she stepped into it, and she's just excelling at it. But she's found a mentor and a group and a community that she is the weakest link in the chain, but she can also ask questions. Like, she was up at 5 a.m. this morning on a call with all these people when the market opened on the East Coast, right? And so she's taking it very serious, and I'm so proud of her. And I think that watching her do that was even a reminder to me, right? To go, like, I told her, you're inspiring me to get back to learning the things that I want to be doing, like marketing, YouTube, or you know what I mean? Like any of that type of influencer stuff that I'm working on right now, or storytelling, or any of these things. So like, I think when you see like a kid learn something and they come at it with that humility and excitement, it's just getting yourself back to that point. If you're fearing failing at it, it's because you want to be perceived as good at it right away, and that's your ego. It's
Say
like,
that
if I
again.
make
Say
oh
that
Yeah.
again.
yeah, if you go at something and you go into it, sorry, my dog's just barked, but if you go into it with that ego, then of course you're scared of failing, because it's a perception on yourself. As where if you go in with no ego and just humility at learning, I've seen this in my own life, and I know that you guys have seen it as well. But when you get into a situation with a mentor and they can tell that you're hungry and excited and motivated to learn, how much attention do you get from that mentor in comparison to the people that, like you said, Dad, start the process and maybe go like, what's the next step? What do I do now? And like you said, the click here buttons, there's a whole group of people that would ask us about that. And that's existed for my whole career doing marketing.
Right.
Even to this day, right? Still putting the arrows, still still doing that. But it comes now from a place more of like humility. Like before I used to look at people and go, God, like, are they dumb? Are they stupid? Like, I'm confused. Like, why is it not clicking for them? Right. And then I realized they made a decision and their ego is still involved. So they don't have the humility to reach out and actually ask, but then they're stuck in the process enough to not move forward. So I have to point, guide, and direct them. If I was a better mentor, they wouldn't have a problem asking. And if they were a better student, they wouldn't have a problem asking. So like, I think that's where I'm at right now, even in my own learning process, is it's like,
Me too.
okay,
Me
I'm
too.
surrounded
I
by
tell
people in those places. So.
Yeah. I tell people too, as in doing this, what a great phrase to say. If you're a person that's procrastinating for whatever reason, again, when people say these words to me, they get mad at me when I say it back to them. So when they say I'm scared, and they say I got anxiety, I'm nervous, I'm confused, I'm frustrated, I don't know why this is simpler. It is hilarious to me how many people, and we've seen this on the inner circle last night, there's people are going like, oh my God, why can't I get a step to step? I need the baby steps. Can someone please hold my hand? And so I was making fun of myself today because I did a video, and I said, okay, so I purchased this. If I purchased this, I probably got an email. So then I looked for the email because I wanted to leave it where it is, right? And then I go, I purchased this from My Daily Choice. What is the possibility that if I log in and look through the menu and click on it, Akashics wasn't there before, but now that I bought it, my God, it's there now. I wonder if I click on Akashics and I click on it and it logs me in the back of the Akashics back office. And then, last night, like Arthur said, if you just pause and just breathe and get calm okay, now what? Oh my God, there's a get started button. I wonder what the hell is under get started. Bam. Onboarding. And I click on onboarding, and it's the first thing is, hey, I'm Josh Zwagel, and I'm going to show you how to set up your Akashics account so you can start trading. And I'm going like, ah, you know, you know, I purchased it days ago.
Yeah, well,
And
I mean, yeah.
yeah, and I'll say one more thing because I want you guys, because we do this with everything. And so here's the other thing I talk about all the time. Now, what's the best thing for me to do at this point is I stop procrastinating when I'm curious. I'm curious and I'm excited to do what others have done to get this. So I just need to calm down and be patient and just take the baby steps and ask for help. And so it's funny because as I'm doing this, I see other people doing this. But then all of a sudden this guy pops up and starts kicking my ass. Right? This is the way. I'm joking here. I'm being facetious, a big word for me. But it's like immediately when you see the simplicity of doing it, then this guy comes out. What an asshole! You could have did that 5 days ago. You could have took the time that once you bought something, stop what you're doing and find the email and go through the process. No, I don't have time for that. No, that's bullshit. I'm busy. I don't have time for this. So as soon as you put it off and procrastinate, now you're losing interest. You were excited when you bought it.
Well, you also like beat yourself up through that process too, because now you're going, like you said, why didn't I get to this sooner? But it also goes to like, why didn't I get to this today? Why didn't I do it today? And I think the interesting thing is like, as human beings, we'll make decisions to do shit and put ourselves in a place to learn. But then we just beat the shit out of ourselves to the point that we don't want to learn. Right? Like, instead of coming at it with that humility and excitement, you come at it with like, why the fuck didn't I do this today? Why am I not doing the things that I know that I need to be doing? And odds are it's probably because you're not excited about it. And that doesn't mean you can't be. It just means that you need to find in it what was initially exciting and motivating to you. If it was
Right.
the financial aspects of making money, maybe surround yourself with people that are really documented and doing it and making money. That might help a little bit in your excitement, because instead of you going, I really can't get excited about making $2 today, right? When you see somebody trading or doing something like that and they just made like $3,000, then all of a sudden in your mind, you're going, it might be $2 today. They've been doing this a couple of years, but it'll be $5,000 one day.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people need to understand exactly, Matt,
Mhm.
because okay, and if I may just add a little bit to that too, I got into this a little bit later than everybody, because the start of the promotion was, I think, on the 28th of July. So we are kind of dating this, but
Well, they had one before that I ignored.
they had one. They're going to have
Right.
another one coming up. But here's the thing: is what else are you doing at the moment? Yes, this is exciting, but you still have things that you still have life that you have to live. And yes, I want to get started now. And okay, I found out, and Robert, I know I kind of threw a little bit of the I'm scared your way too when you and I were chatting just briefly a little.
This is uncomfortable.
It is, but again, this is something new. This is something out of your comfort zone. This is stepping out of the box. This is what's going to make you a better person. So I wanted to be vulnerable to you in this regard, in saying that, okay, and it's in a sense, it's also putting you on notice that I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
I am going to step out of my comfort zone at the moment. And, okay, what have I got to lose except for maybe a little time and maybe a little money? But the benefits, the documentation is there. I know that you would vet things
Yeah.
that, and so it's like, okay, here's my documentation. Robert is getting into it. He's not going to get into something that is not beneficial to not only him, but others. So I have that.
I do my best.
You do your best,
Yeah, that's
right? And
that's
all
how
that
I
we
was gonna
can
say
do.
that. Yeah.
Mark Cuban has that whole saying, I only need one that works. And when he tells his
Right.
story of even in him in college, so he found a nightclub that was for sale. And so the very first thing that he did is went to all the people in the college going, "Hey, I want you to go to the best, the number one club in this city." And everyone goes, why do you think that's the best? I don't even think it's in business. And he goes, "Yeah, but you're going to own partnership in this one." So he went to everybody and sold them stock because his mind said that if everyone owned a part of this nightclub, they ain't going to the other ones. They're and so your investment of a certain amount of money, he did just like crowdfunding. That if you put this month in much of money in, then you don't have to pay any cover charge. And if you put a little more in, then guess what? You get to sit at these special tables when everybody else doesn't. And he just put all these different things, right? Well, he raises enough money to go buy the thing and then set it up, and everyone's making money. It's the number one club. And then some bouncers, according to him, we'll never know the whole story, let in some minors. And they raided the place, shut them down, took their liquor license away. And so he tells all these things that he did until he got broadcast.com and then took it public and then made billions of dollars from selling it to Yahoo. So Mark Cuban says, "I only need one to work." And now he's in Shark Tank, right? And so they every once in a while you can see interviews of them go, "Hey, well, you ever lost any money in Shark Tank?" And every one of the sharks just go over, "I lost money on this one, this one, this one,
Hmm.
this one, this one, this one, this one, and then I lost money at this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one." Oh, really? Well, which one did you win at? Sponge Daddy. I made $400 million from Sponge Daddy. And then what is the other one? See, people just don't look at
Well,
things
there's Ring, of course. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then I was just getting there, Matt. And then
Mhm.
then everyone asks the next question. Okay, so all the ones you lost, then which ones did you do that win? That's why winners keep winning. They just keep trying. And then, oh, by the way, what is your biggest mistake? And everyone said, everyone knows our biggest mistake. Guy came in, talked about this camera and this talking doorbell called Ring. We all said he was an idiot. And Jeff Bezos got to see the episode, called the dude up, bought him lock, stock, and barrel, and made it part of Amazon.
Yeah. But what it shows is it shows that you have to go through and do things in order to find out whether they are successful or not. Yes, you may have the greatest idea since sliced bread, but until you start slicing that bread and seeing if it's successful, how are you going to know that it's
Yeah.
successful?
And like,
And
yeah.
go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was gonna say too,
All I
it's
was saying
like,
is just you
It's
got
an,
to do
it's
it.
an exciting topic
yeah,
because all of us have failed at so many things in life, and we just focus on them.
Yeah.
So Craig has one of the greatest statements of a lot of great quotes out there. If you think you can't, by Ford, and then of
Yeah.
course Yoda. And you wouldn't believe how many times I've had people, when I was sharing this with people, they go, "You know what? I've tried that."
Oh,
And
that's
I'm
the one
just like
dangerous
going,
phrase you
so
keep saying.
yeah, so whether it's, and I said, well, first of all, you use the word try, but just like an inner circle that we brought up last night, don't bullshit me. Did you try to innovate on the idea? Did you try to be creative on the deal? Did you try to make it individual? Or you're smarter than everyone else, like Matt says? Are you being culturally influenced by other people? So we just get into a brand new thing. We should be following the person that has evidence and documentation. So the here's the thing. If Joss Wagel created a platform and there's people that are experts in there that are doing the trading, and sending the signals out. And I didn't know that there was a leaderboard in there. You can click on the leaderboard and see who's made the most money since they've been an expert trader. But you get in and you don't follow directions, like IKEA. You know what I mean? People try to put the furniture together without the instructions. You know what I mean? And we know we all do this because it's so damn funny. They do commercials about it. So you got this young husband and wife, and they're putting furniture together. And then she looks over him and she said, do you think that they sent extra screws and bolts? He's like, I don't know. Then he sets a glass on it, and of course the table destroys.
I've seen pictures where it was like people went and bought IKEA furniture and they're just using the box because they didn't put it together.
Or what was in the movie Deadpool, because I just saw it the other night. I'm getting ready to watch the new movie. Promotion. Anyways,
Yeah.
But it was showing that, they put together this one stand, looked good, and then all of a sudden sits down, observes it, it collapses.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't following directly the instructions. She thought,
Yeah.
okay, here's what the picture looks like. Here's what it should look like. Okay, do this. Perfect. No problem. Of course, not solidifying everything. Of course, there were other things, other circumstances involved in that little scene, but the whole idea was I put it together and something just still wasn't right because it collapsed.
Yeah. And it was funny when we were talking in the inner circle, I actually put it in AI. And I just asked, is it human nature to not follow instructions and do your own thing? And AI come back and says, unfortunately, yes, it is. And so I'm like going, okay, with this new awareness that I have, going into something new that I know that I can learn. And if I just don't get bored, let the experts do the trades, let them send it to me, tap on the phone. And I know what people are going to do. It's a human nature, because the worst kind of success is a little. So you followed it, the simple instructions, you clicked on it, you made $300. And then the new ones come in and you click on it and you make $300. And it's like, man, I just made $800. I'm a freaking expert. That's more than what everybody else did. So
Yep.
I know he's only trading at a low risk, but I've made $800. Let me put more risk in there so I can get more return. Now you're $100 in a hole.
Yeah, what was that story that you shared yesterday too, Robert, about your gambling situation?
Oh, thank you, Craig.
I think that is such a perfect example of what you're talking about right now.
Now help me with a phrase that I've always heard. It is you teed me up, right?
Okay, yes.
I've heard it, but does that mean like, we're golfing and you were nice enough to put the tee in the ground and put the ball up there so I didn't have to? Well, thank you for the tee up.
Oh, you're so welcome, sir.
Because I have two stories of this that's really hilarious. So the first one is, I'm not a gambler. I'm too analytical. And it was so funny. A guy, I didn't tell the whole story. A guy actually gave me $100 to gamble for him. And he said, would you gamble this? And I said, I don't gamble. And he says, everything you touch turns to gold. And I'm going like, yeah, it does. I'm one of the luckiest people I know. And I believe that's being ignorant. And I just got a great attitude. I don't
Optimistic.
try to change.
Yeah.
What I say about people all the time is if you look at anything in the world, there's this thing called beginner luck. But also there's another thing that I say that they just didn't get the memo. So you have a brand new person come in, and Mom and I were watching this last night on Beverly Listings or whatever. And the person said, he said, This is the #1 agency in the world, not just in the United States. And people here make millions of dollars a year. So I'm going to do what they tell me to do. And so he went in there, and the owner of the company, Mo, said, listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but you're either doing 200 calls a day and having people cuss you out and say obscenities and say that they're going to turn you over to the government for spam calls, or you go door to door. And he says, I'm going to go door to door. So just like me, in my first story of getting in this industry, my mentor said to me, you just got to go where there's a lot of people. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get up, take a shower, get in a beat up Celica, and I'm going to drive to downtown LA around the tallest building at the time as the First Interstate building. See, my mind told me that that's where I could go. After I figured out and got comfortable, I realized that there are people at the local mall 10 minutes from my house. so sometimes we make things a little harder than they should be, right? So this guy left and said, okay, where are the wealthiest homes? I could sell a $100,000 home, $200,000 home, or I could sell a $23 million home. Ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. He didn't have a thought in his mind, not one thought in his mind that, hey, the owner of the company said I had to pick one or the other. I'm going to do both. So he goes down in Beverly Hills. And then what he does is he walks up to these gates and presses the intercom button. And he pressed the intercom button and a voice came on there. How can I help you? And he says, listen, I work with the agency. I'm a new real estate person. And the owner of the agency said the way to help people help them find new homes and help them sell homes was to go, gate to gate or intercom to intercom. And the guy goes, man, that's a lot of courage. He said different words, but he said, that's courage.
It's a lot of balls.
Yeah. Yeah. A pair of balls. And so the gate opened up and he walked out, and the guy that came out of the door was Ben Affleck. Now, this was years ago. And he said, you work for the agency? Yeah, that's the #1 agency. They sold this home. I seen their advertising. Yeah, I work for them. And he's going, I would like to help you with your real estate needs. And I believe that he has sold 4 homes for Ben Affleck.
Wow.
And Ben Affleck became such great friends with him that he started inviting him to his parties and introducing to him, hey, this is my real estate guru. And everybody's like going, that sounds like a beginner story, a beginner's luck story. No, that's an ignorance story.
I was going to say ignorance on fire,
ignorance on fire.
He was hungry and ready to learn and figure it out. And that humility allows you to do those things. You know, like I remember, Dad, when we were younger, going back to the website stuff, there was a moment in my life, and I was probably in that same age range, 10, 11. And so we were running this company. I was building websites, just something I enjoyed doing. So it was an easy transition into making money doing it. But the one part that I had not ever done was the sales part. I was good at building them, but I hadn't done the sales part. So Dad, at that moment in time, you challenged me because the new PSP handheld system came out, and I just was like, I was in martial arts at the time. So if I had friends that had it or people that didn't have it, that's even more exciting, right? Because then I'm the guy that has it. Right. But it was expensive. And so my dad looked at me and went, if you can sell a website, you can have all the money. And that was more than enough to buy the PSP and all that stuff. And I went, how do I sell a website? Like, how do I talk to people? And he's like, well, there's a lot of businesses in the yellow pages. This is back when we all got those yellow page books, right? And he goes, there's a lot of businesses in the yellow pages. They'll have their domain name there for their website. Now you can either go look at their website, and if it's crap, you can call them up and offer to rebuild it. Or if they don't have a URL there at all, that probably means they do not have a website. And so what you need to do is go through this book and call these businesses and try to sell them a website. So I'm calling a pizzeria and they answer like they're going to order pizza, right? And then here is an 11-year-old going, can I speak to your manager, please? Because in my in my mind, right, I'm like, I can't sell a website to these people. I need to sell it to the manager, right, in my mind. And then it's like, I just keep calling, and some of them have websites, and they go, no, thank you, or whatever. And eventually, you guys, I did sell a website and was able to buy the PSP. And to me, looking back at it now, because there's been moments in time in my adult life that I've had to cold call leads, and I was horrified, like I was frightened.
Yeah.
And then I think back to blank calling businesses out of the yellow pages asking to speak to their managers to build them a website. And I go, what made me want to do that? I was excited. There was something that I had a desire, a dream, and I was humble. I was okay with them saying no to me or saying no thanks, because to me that was just closer to getting to the person that would say yes.
Yep. Sorting,
exactly. And so, like, you have these moments in your life that maybe you are proud of, or that you've pushed yourself. Maybe you were a kid at the time. Maybe it was in a sport or something. I competed in martial arts and stuff too. So that's another area I'd say that I pushed myself in. And you get these moments of wins, but as an adult, you're like so complicated with the fear and anxiety of failure or other people's perception of you that you like lose your humility and your excitement for what you want to be doing. And I'm like, every single time I snap my mind back into like, if I say something wrong or I'm making something and they see it and they go, that's pretty stupid. I'm like, for you it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm much more okay now with someone going, that's not for me, because there's so much shit that's not for me. And I don't think about it for a second. Like, it's so weird when you put someone else into or you think about someone else's perspective. Like, we're always worried about how we're perceived. So we get all dressed up nice and then we go out because we don't want to be perceived. But then, like, when I come home and days go by and I'm like trying to remember the last time I was at the mall and the people that were walking around, I cannot remember them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't remember you either.
Yeah.
So,
it's so interesting, because in this same kind of, for those of you that are wanting to watch the show, it's the company's called The Agency, and I bet you on their website they have some neat, it's probably called The Agency or something on Netflix. But so the new girl that, he's got, I think, 4 daughters. And so one of his youngest daughters just graduated from college. So now she's doing an internship. And guess what her dad tells her she's got to do? Sit down with the other girls that are making money, and you got to make some cold calls. And soon as he sat down with this girl, and I guess she makes millions of dollars, and she just goes, hey, listen, you're going to get some people that are going to say some stuff to you that's not appropriate. We just got to find the ones that do. And so she had that beginner's luck. I have a unique thought and feeling that when you go past that fear and you don't care, that all of a sudden you get that luck because your attitude's different. You're thinking different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she reaches out to somebody and says, hello, I'm Angela with the agency. And the guy goes, yeah. And she goes, listen, have you ever thought about, selling your home? And we'd love to help you with that. And he goes, did my ex-wife put you up to this? And you've seen her like she should. It's like, she's looking at the girl and she's just going, and she goes, no. She says, I don't know who your ex-wife is. I just wanted to see if I could help you. And he goes, you know what? I will sell eventually. And she goes, great. Can I send you some information? Is this your address? Blah, 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 blah. And I'll send you some information. We'd love to take care of you. And then the guy goes, and then she goes, the girl's going, 2 girls around her, and they're coaching her on. And she goes, do you have a thought of when you'd be interested in selling? And he says, I love where I live. It's probably going to at least be another 25 years. And again, she freezes. And she just went, just encouraging her. And she goes, sir, I'm brand new and young, and I'll be here in 25 years. I'm looking forward to working with you. And all the girls went, and he goes, okay, I'll talk to you then. and they hung up, and it was like they're all cheering.
That's exciting though, because like the thing
Yeah.
is too is people don't realize the connections, and like you'll see this in Hollywood, you'll see this in many other areas, but people don't realize that a lot of these businesses are that humility, excitement, and just connecting with people. That
Yes.
guy may never sell his house, right? 25 years later, he might not be here. Someone else might own the house, or whatever it may be. But because of her hunger and excitement, similar to when I was calling people, because believe it or not, the way that I actually sold a website was by a referral of someone that already had one that said, actually, this business doesn't have one. I know
Wow.
there's this company
Nice.
nearby, and it was a pizzeria, didn't have a business, right? It was that in a church, I believe. It was the ones we did.
I know you also sold one to a pet store.
Yeah. After I sold the first one, I a little excited sold a couple more
Well,
until I got
well,
everything that I needed as a kid.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, great, I got the PSP, I got the games that I wanted. I'm good to go now, right?
I remember the
Robert,
time Matt went into wide open mode because I used the new computer for business, and I'm excited. I'm learning all this new stuff. I'm excited to figure out how I can connect with all the people that are getting on the internet for the first time. So I was pretty jacked up. And Matt said to me, he goes, how much does the computer cost? And I go, why? And he goes, well, I want my own. And I just told him, I said, I'll match you dollar for dollar. And he ran out of the room.
okay, this to me is exactly kind of the thing that you love to share, Robert, too, about planting seeds. You
Yes.
with the farmer, or taking it another step further, um, the Jim Rohn story
Yeah.
about,
The
okay,
birds.
the birds, exactly. Exactly. And you can listen to that a little bit. I think it's on How to Build Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn,
Yeah.
because he talks about that. And it's an incredible story. You go out there, you sow the seeds.
Yeah.
Some do.
The faster way to find it is if you put in YouTube, put in Jim Rohn, and his last name is Rohn, and
Yes.
then put the sower.
The sower.
Yeah,
Okay.
because then you'll go right directly to the track. And the other story, Craig, that you brought up is, I was a mechanic, and this
Right.
guy gives me $100. That's a lot of freaking money, and he says, gamble it for me. And I said, man, I said, I don't gamble. And he's going, listen, I don't care. You know what I mean? You're lucky. And so I walk into this casino, and oh my God, this craps table. I've never played craps before. And it just was, I mean, it was loud, just like you see on the movies. You know what I mean? Like Rain Man. It's just like, it was really exciting. And I walked over there, and, three gorgeous women that were on one side throwing dice, because, people are attracted by people that are excited, people that are,
Yeah, I mean, you walk by. Here's the thing, right? Like we've all seen these movie moments or whatever, right? Where it's walking into a casino and seeing everyone around a craps table, or
yeah.
if you wanted to go worse, you're walking down the street and everyone's surrounding a bunch of TVs, and you're like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, the
That just
classic
happened
one,
with the assassination thing, because we were out
yeah.
when that happened. It was like, uh-oh, something's
Yeah,
going on.
there was I don't remember the Christmas vacations or whatever, but there's one of them where the young kid they go to Vegas. So it's probably like Vegas deal.
Vegas vacation.
And remember that
He
kid,
like wins everything or
he
whatever.
wins the car, he wins everything.
Like
Right?
anything he touches is like
Yeah.
automatic.
And so but the funny thing is so I walked up to the table and I seen this guy, and I'm not exaggerating, he had millions of dollars of chips in front of him. And I was looking at the top of this chip, and he had these tall stacks, like, this tall. And they said 50,000 on them. And he was betting these chips in stacks. And so I'm looking at the directions, and it's funny, we're talking about the same thing always.
Instructions, yeah.
I'm looking at
Mastering
the
the
directions.
mundane.
I don't understand them. I don't understand the craps, but you have to bet in multiples of numbers based on the lines. Very complex. And so I think I got it figured out. Everyone's screaming and yelling. And I took I handed the $100 to the pit boss, whatever, he gives me he said big ones, small ones. I said little ones. And so I had $10 and $5 chips, and I put them on the craps table, and no exaggeration, there probably was 30 people around that table. Everyone's screaming, including the employees, everyone's watching everything, right? And silence. Immediately, just silence. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm looking at people and they're all staring at me. I stopped the fucking game because I bet wrong. So I'm killing the flow. So in a panic, I just picked my chips back up.
I would do the same though, because I'm like, oh shit, I made a mistake.
Yeah. And everybody starts screaming again. So I didn't know what I was doing. I shut it down. I pulled the chips back up, and I know that was probably a whole second. It wasn't long because it freaked me out. But now I don't want to bet anymore, right? And I'm watching them all screaming, and then all of a sudden I caught out of my eye that this guy was betting $10,000 chips and $50,000 chips. And I had $5 and $10 chips. And I go, what if I just follow him? So he moves the 50s and the 10s in two places. I put a 5 and 10 where the 50 and the 10s were, and I put them in the same place. Everyone kept cheering. So now I'm following something. In a matter of like minutes, it was like 5 or 6. So he was letting it, let it ride. So when he would win, he would let that ride. So he was doubling, and then going up 4 times, and then going up 8 times. Are you guys catching me? And betting millions of dollars. And so me, it was like 4 or 5 shakes of the dice, and I'm looking at that. I easily got $3,000. I'm just like going, I'm freaking out. If you think that I was in it, I'm really in it, right? And then this one girl rolls the dice. He doubles up again, and he just waves like this at the pit boss and points at his chips. And 3 guys in a blink of an eye came over, scooped up all his chips, and started putting these in a plastic tray. Now, I now know, I didn't know then, how big this guy was, because he walked away and trusted them with his chips. So they know him, and it's like, listen, I know what I got. Bundle these up. I'm going to go to sleep or go grab something to eat or whatever, right? But he just knew, because he was an expert, when to walk away, and he just won. What do you think I did? I left my chips exactly where they are. The next time she rolled, it was craps. They took all my chips. So now imagine me telling this story that I've told for years. This was back when I was an auto mechanic, so it was 40 years ago, And here's the funny part of the story, right? I won the trip because I was a good auto mechanic. So the top 3 producers got a paid trip to go to Vegas. So this is like first time I had the company pay for everything, right? And I go, man, I got to tell this exciting story to the guy that gave me $100. So how'd my $100 work? Hey, we're up at one time at $3,000. Then I lost it all. And I'm telling you, that's got to be exactly the same about virtually everything we attempt to do.
Well, I mean, how many people, like, here's the thing, right? I've been talking about NVIDIA for like a bit, right? Because, I'm one of those people where I'm like looking at it, I'm like, by the people that are making the shovels, right? Like, that's where you need to be. Yeah, you're going to say. So that's the thing. Here, let me go over to you. Hold on, we're watching it in real time go up and down. But the interesting thing is, right? Now that Hannah's more into stocks and stuff like that, she's looking at it and watching it a lot more. And so
nice.
You watch certain things happen, right? And I'm so focused, like I could never day trade because I'm just so focused on like the future, right? Like that's where my mind most of the time is. So what ends up happening is it's like, oh, do you know that NVIDIA stock is going down? And I'm like, you mean before they sell the B100 servers to people that they can't even make enough of them for 10 million each that they're manufacturing right now. It's like, imagine, and this is what I've said to people, it's like, imagine going, I don't know if Apple stock is a good play. And it's like, yeah, but they're about to announce the iPod. You don't even understand. It's like, imagine getting an Apple pre-iPod. You know what I mean? Pre them revolutionizing an industry. And it's like, I find it interesting because it is that short-term gain or excitement.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
look at our NVIDIA stock similar to you, Dad. I'm like, just keep putting money in. If we have
But this
extra
is
money
the
here or
first
there, and
time for me. Most of the time, you know, I tell people we hired this guy Todd Humphreys, and you know, I loved when he showed his account. There was the story I tell about Todd Humphreys that he came over to help us with Koshik's, and he was a specialist in crypto. The very first time that he got on stage, he had his cell phone connected to the big TVs. And he logs in, he goes, this is my account. And I'm looking up there, and this guy's got $2.9 million in this account. And live time, you guys, he talked for 20 minutes. He made $13,000 while he was talking. We all sat there and it went green, green. He just kept talking and it went green, green, green. And he looked up and he went, wow, I made money. And everybody went, they're not paying attention to him. In 20 minutes, this guy made $13,000. I'm in. I'm totally in. This is October, about 2-3 years ago. I got in. I bought a bunch of Bitcoin. I bought some other coins. I bought it like at 66,000. Then all of a sudden it went to 68,000. And then it went to 19,000. And I woke up one morning and looked at my phone, and it's just like my NVIDIA stock right now. It's like, why is this all red? And I heard Warren Buffett say a thing, and it changed my whole trading career. When in doubt, zoom out. So if you're looking at trading day by day, you're going to have some sad days, and you're going to have some really exciting days.
Well, that's the thing is, like, the people that actually excel at that too, and do make like you were saying, those 10,000 or whatever a day doing it, they're doing it at such a skilled level.
Yeah.
That you think that the people that you hear, like, it's hard, like, it's easier to put your money into the S&P 500 than become a day trader.
Right.
Your money will, odds are, do better if you like let a mouse bet on what stock you should go for. But the truth is that just like any world that exists, there's people that have enough information and knowledge to make that amount of money every single day doing that. And they entice all the other people that are maybe excited, the people we're talking about, but don't want to learn. They want to shortcut it because they see the money aspect of it. But they don't realize, like you said, when you're getting into a Koshik's, you don't realize like, I'm watching my wife. She's got 2 monitors back here, but I'm watching my wife look at all these graphs, and numbers and everything like that are drastically changing and making decisions and all these things, like in minutes or whatever, right? Let me go back to that.
So when we talk about, sorry to interrupt you, Matt.
No problem.
So when he says, when in doubt, zoom out, that's pretty green. When you go to max, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that means, okay, so let's not do max. Let's do 5 years.
It's going to look even better.
Exactly. And I think that's with anything.
So you're looking at things day to day.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I just made a purchase, and now I'm into this service, and you know, when am I going to get my money back? And it's this instantaneous mentality that destroys us and everything. It's like, listen, I reached out and talked to 4 people, and they all said no. You know, and my mentor was like, hey, you get 70 people to watch the video. He never told me how many people would be the wrong people at the wrong time.
And Robert, when you look at the 6-phase meditation, what does it say? You look at 3 years from now? Where do you see yourself 3 years from now? Not today, not
Great point.
tomorrow, 3 years from now, because you're going to go through what you're exactly describing. You're going to go through the ups and downs, sideways, backwards, moving forward. Oh, darn it, stepped on a rock. Now I got to, bandage my foot up. Okay, heal the foot. Now we keep moving forward. It's going to take that time, but
Yeah.
you get the experience. And
Yeah.
it's that
So
experience that takes you to that level so that you can get what you want. And sometimes it may not even take that 3 years,
right.
but the
And
fact
one
that
of the
you're
things
focused on it.
you guys can go to roberthollis.com/gifts to get these gifts that we're talking about. And on the 6 phase meditation, when I first learned from Vision Lakhani, it's the code to the extraordinary mind. I don't promote a lot of books because I'm not a big reader like Matt is. But when I read this book, the two big things that popped out were like, all these bullshit rules that you have in your life that you have no clue where the hell you got them. You know, if what you know that you know that you know isn't so, when would you like to know? You know what I mean? And so the other thing that it said in there, and man, this is me. Listen closely, you guys. This is me and probably every human being that watches this live or recorded. We grossly overestimate what we can do in 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And because we have unrealistic expectations, it destroys everything that we could be good at. Whether it was, I'd always like to learn a different language. Oh my God, I've been doing this for 3 months and I still can't speak it. I'm done. I want to learn a musical instrument, or I want to learn to act, or I want to learn to sing something in the creative place. And it's like, listen, this isn't working. It's not working. So I'm quit. And I can guarantee you, me and talking to my two visionaries here, it is really, really sad when you look back at your life and realize that you couldn't just stay in long enough to become above average, to become, instead of ordinary, to become extraordinary. And right now, while we're doing this, the Olympics are on. You know what I
Right.
mean? And there's not only people that are winning medals, but they're winning in events where their country has never won a medal in that event ever. And it's like, wow, you got long-term thinking? Wow, I would love to win a gold medal or a bronze or a silver in the Olympics. I think if you started right now, don't get mad, but I don't think you're going to make the Olympic team for 4 years from now. So all the people that are trying out for the Olympics, the United States, like every country, makes everyone that thinks they're good at whatever, they got to compete against each other. And only a few of them get to go, And so that girl, that Ludasi or whatever her name, that's a swimmer,
Mhm.
to think that, you
Katie
know,
Ledecky.
yeah,
Right.
to
Right.
think
Right.
that right now if she as a female has won more medals than any females in the Olympics. So she's starting to pull off this thing like Michael Phelps. There's no one that's got more medals than I or more gold medals than I. And this is done over periods of time. And you got the Simone Biles, story where, there's no one that's won more medals. It's like, I forget, I think it was Snoop Dogg that gave her a necklace. Snoop Dogg is like the head cheering fan there.
I know.
And and he gave her a necklace and it was a goat that was encrusted with diamonds.
I mean, this is the thing, right? Like you watch a competitor like that, and what's so crazy is I don't always keep up with all the drama, but apparently there was like some competitor from the past that was on the Olympic team, and she did some type of interview, Michaela something, and she did some type of interview, and she's like, Simone Biles is really, really good, but the rest of the team sucks. They're not going to be able to do it. And so Simone, being the person she is, not just a great competitor, but a great leader, obviously has had a conversation with them about this. So
Yeah.
when they did win Olympic gold, all of them, she posted a Instagram post and she said, just the worst, most losing gold medal Olympic team you've ever seen.
Yeah.
She's
It's
like openly mocking the person that's going, all these people can't do it. My team back then with her was better, and when we did it, it's like,
Yeah. Oh
no,
my God.
actually, it might have just been the person that was at the head of the pack that excited
Right.
everybody. Similarly with like Michael Jordan, you have to have
Yeah.
someone
Person
that's like
pointing the
doing new
finger
stuff,
has three fingers pointing back at them.
right?
Yeah. The Simone Biles story I know is going to turn into a movie
Oh, of
Oh
because
course.
God, yeah.
for her to be an overall gold medal champion and then win more gold medals in the world championship games than any other gymnast, and then shows up at the last Olympics and has this mind problem with twisties and has to pull out. So,
Right.
4 years ago, everyone's going, oh my God, we're going to get gold. And all of a sudden, the number one girl has to pull out. And the team did not win gold. I think they won bronze or something. But, what do you do now? You're the American hero or the Olympic hero. And then you go to the next one 4 years later, and you're the American's tragedy story because the higher you are, the further you fall. And everyone's like going, what is twisties? And she says, I just don't have the confidence in my mind to do the twist and the spins that I normally do. I don't trust myself. And so she's smart enough to know that as soon as she did an exercise and her feet landed and she went sideways, her mind goes, in this mental condition, I'm going to injure myself forever. I need to pull out. And what do you do after that? You take some relaxed time. She got married. She relaxed. And then her mind went, I'm going back. And so I heard that she just won the women's overall champion
Yeah.
for gold.
I mean, did you see
Uh,
her floor routine? I don't even know how somebody can jump that high and do that
Ugh.
many spins. Like when I saw it, because
spins within
And
flip.
she keeps
yes,
improving every single time. She
Yeah.
keeps finding something more and more and more, which is something
she
we've
finds
talked
something
about in the
honestly
past.
deeper in herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that
How much
to
more can
be at
we
that
do?
top tier. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What can we
And
do
we
to
all
enhance what
know.
we got once we got our
Yeah.
goal? Well, let's go to another level. And that's something that is always something that the top people look for.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible movie because we don't know all the inner stuff, but for someone to get that low, that because me personally, I've been there. There's only one thing worse than being at the lowest place you can be is looking backwards a few years ago and you were the highest you ever was.
Mm,
So you hear this a lot. With great risk comes great reward.
Yes.
But usually in history, it's always these great heights go to the great lows before they go back. So it's these people like Kobe Bryant, where we watch live time as he makes a step and rips his Achilles tendon, and people go, "You don't come back from that injury." Well, some athletes like Kobe do.
It reminds me of the song, I
It's
get
like,
knocked down, but I get up again. Ain't
yeah,
nothing gonna keep me down.
amen. Amen. Well, I know that we just went an hour, and I know you guys got a lot of things to do, and I just really really think that this was a great podcast. I appreciate and love you two very
of
very much,
course.
Love you
and
too, Robert.
it's just the whole concept that I wanted to share with everyone is the things that you went through in your past really don't have anything to do with your future. So there's probably people that have watched this that maybe have a lot of drama or drama or trauma or heartache based on things we had made mistakes in the past. And a lot of people don't know this because I don't openly say it, but I only had 4 girlfriends in my whole life, and the first two that I had didn't see a future with me. And I know you guys are going to hear like this is crazy, but to think that I hung around the wrong people and I wanted to be the best bad person I could be, and I stole a beer truck for a high school and birthday party, and ended up in a federal penitentiary at the age of 18. The parents of my girlfriend didn't think that there was a future for her with me.
After
I'm on the front.
that.
I'm on the front page, and I'm going to prison. I think you're going to have to call a halt to this guy, right? And so, then I get out of there, and I meet my third girlfriend, and I get married to her, and I'm just being bold and honest, because she got pregnant. You know what I mean? I didn't think that I should be married at 20. And then I have my son, Darcy, Robert Jr. And the next thing I know, he's 18 months old, and she says, listen, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And I went, you're not taking my son. And she goes, I don't want him. So now at 20 years of age, I'm a single father, and she just abandoned us. So I told everyone on the planet that I couldn't handle that kind of hurt again. So I'm never, ever, ever, ever getting married again. I'm not interested in dating. I'm just not interested. Then I met this incredible woman named Terry. And still to this day, I just thanked her yesterday for this. Why she was willing to say this is the dude and not give up on me is still mind-boggling to me. And now we've been together for 40 years. So a great product of that was Matthew and Kyle.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Matthew wouldn't be on here if I wasn't willing to risk again. I had to open up, and I had to open up my heart and learn to love again, and trusting that this time I wasn't going to get my heart broken. And so I use that in relationships, because really I look at relationships as not only friends, but business partners. All of us have been betrayed. It's part of the process. It's sad, but every movie's got this hero's journey where they seem to be at least okay with their current surrounding, and things are going okay. And then you come home, and your parents left you with your aunt and uncle, and you come home and your aunt and uncle's dead. And it's like, how do you get over that? Now you're by yourself, and you just need to get excited again. So he's like, hey, listen, I heard these rumors about my dad being a Jedi. Talk about Luke Skywalker, and I need to go around the world and find out someone that's got a spaceship that can take me
You
to
mean the galaxy?
and sometimes the people that help you get to the next step are like,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
no, who's the Han Solo?
Oh, Han. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so sometimes you run into a guy that's not really above the law, and he's like a little rebel, and it's like, hey, you want to go to this planet? I've never been there. I'll take you. You know what I mean? And you got the rest of the story. Why? Because he knew his dad was a Jedi, and he wanted to find the people that taught his father. Why? He wasn't thinking about being a Jedi. He wanted to find his dad.
Right.
All right. And then he gets exposed to this stuff. And we love the classic lines where the Yoda thing came from. And he's like, listen, why don't you raise that spaceship with your mind? And so he tries, and he goes, I can't. And to have someone say, you said can't, and that's why you fail. That's the worst thing you could say to somebody that just said, listen, I can't do it, and that's why you fail. Well, I'm trying. Don't try, do. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand that I'm a loser, and I don't have any friends, and no one ever helps me, and my parents didn't even want me. It's like, oh my God, you can come up with a million excuses not to try life again. But I'm telling you what, I'd rather be risking and learning things new and be uncomfortable and feel fucking alive than just existing. going through day after day after day, just staying in the same place. Because I know this for a fact, you guys, and you know it too. You never are staying in the same place. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's like you're either growing or you're dying. And everything that we feel and everything we think and everything we say just compounds on it. So I've been at places in my life where I just said I didn't want to be around anymore, that I could easily check myself out and no one would give a shit. And then there's this little part in each and every one of us that just goes, it just imagines like, golly, what if? What if what if I did try? What if I went through the uncomfortable? What if I asked for help? What if I took the time to find people that are inspiring and hung around them than hang around a bunch of people on social media that says that everything sucks and we're dying real soon? You know what I mean? It's like I'd rather die attempting something great than dying and have no one show up at my funeral. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still excited about learning. I do things each and every day that don't work because of my unrealistic expectations. But every day I'm trying something new. Every day I'm learning something new, and every day I'm doing my best to be aware of my emotions, because the winds of the world are all the same for everyone. It's just the people that learn to set their sails correctly. And anyone that learns to sail has one thing in common. Let me tell you about the time that I guessed wrong and I pitched the sails a certain way, and the next thing I know, I'm being dragged by my sailboat from a rope. I mean, you watch the Americans Cup, and these are the most well-trained experts on the planet, flying the most, I said flying, the most advanced sailboats in the world. So the sails are picking them up and it starts to go up on the hydroplanes. And they now have sailboats that do over 90 miles an hour. That
I mean,
is
imagine falling off onto the water at 90
freaking
miles an hour.
insane. And then not only are they going on the hot foils, but water resistance. Then they tip them on one of the foils and pull the other one out of the water. So now everything's balancing on this one carbon fiber fin that's under the water away from the waves. The waves are not hitting the boat. They got their sails perfect. And now all of a sudden, guess what? The American Cup is based on skill. So they force you to tack. They force you to go around corners. And one guy makes one wrong move. The whole sailboat goes in the water, people flying everywhere. Because it was one wrong guess. And now it's time, just like the Rocky, deal, the Rocky scene with his son. It's life. Life kicks the shit out of every person. It's not just you. Don't get mad at me, but you're not fucking special. Life is not easy. Life is just worth it. So you're going to get punched. And sometimes the harder you work at it and the more results that you get, the falls are far further down. But it's the people that just keep getting hit and keep getting back up, and you hit back. And you just got to be willing to do that, then sit around and talk about all the people that have been knocked down and get in a circle with a bunch of people that complain about fucking getting knocked down. Hang around a bunch of people that also got knocked down more times than the average person, but they're still living life. You just want to feel every day like you're alive. So please just give it another shot. Get uncomfortable, willing to find someone that knows what the hell they're doing, that has evidence and documentation of helping other people. And like Matt said, like Craig said, let's strip your ego, let's be humble, and just allow the mentors to take you on the little steps to get courage. So a lot of you are going to want to make $1 million in 3 days, but just start out doing the basics and the tap and trade, and be willing to do that long enough. You just keep doing the same basic stuff instead of taking shots before you have the experience, to have the bad experience that stops you from living the rest of your life. To start over, do the baby steps, ask for help, stop getting into these stupid, unrealistic expectations, because everyone has their own perspective of winning. Everyone has their own perspective of losing, right? To some people say, well, I lost a couple $100 and so I quit. Well, there's people out there that lose thousands of dollars. There's people that lose tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, billions of dollars. We were talking about the day trading. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's Forbes magazine has a link to watch the wealthiest people in the world live time. It's a live time ticker. And you see someone come out and say something stupid. I'll go on a small rant here. But why the media hates Elon Musk is because Elon Musk hates the media. Right? So on every news channel yesterday in the Associated Press, everyone said, oh my God, Tesla's got a recall. 2 million Teslas. It was resolved with tapping one button from a computer that went out to the 2 million cars and updated the software.
Right.
With all the cars combined with the update, Elon Musk said it took 48 hours to fix all 2 million cars. No, that's not the message that media got. Did you hear that Tesla's got recalls on 2 million cars? Do you think that affects Tesla's stock?
Yeah, of course.
It absolutely does. So you can watch this live track and see Elon Musk's wealth go down $4.3 billion. Now he's only worth, $276 billion.
Darn. Damn it.
Yeah,
How's
I
he
think
gonna
we can
survive?
deal with that.
It just cracks me up. So, I'm done. Matt, if you have a last word, Craig.
No, I love everything that you said, Dad. Like I really think like it's time, and it's interesting how often we say this, but it's just time to like start not only being humble and not thinking so much about what other people think, but just like trusting yourself. And the only way that you're ever going to build that trust is by doing that, right? Like you have to believe in any situation that you're going to be okay. And to believe that you're going to be okay in those situations, you have to trust your own advice and your own opinion or thoughts on what decisions you'd make. The only way to gain that is by making decisions. If you don't make any decisions that are your own, how are you ever going to gain any trust in your own decisions? And without that trust in your own decisions, how are you going to ever do any of the shit you actually want to be doing? No one's going to show up and say, here's how you do it, especially if it's a new idea.
Yeah.
Right? Or a new spin on something.
Well,
so that would be my advice.
Yeah. Matt, is my son. So I'm very, very proud of him. And he's constantly using AI to create all this stuff. And then the constant thing that he says is, look at this video. And I'm going, Matt, this is amazing. And it's like, it's light years ahead of what he shared with me 3 months ago. You know what I mean? It is like, I'm looking at the AI and I'm going, this looks like a real woman. I'm looking at it and then all of a sudden she starts talking and the lips and the sound is exactly right. Matt was sending me stuff 3 months ago that I'm going, wow, this is awesome. This is really, really good. but
How are you gonna
she
make
doesn't.
anything with this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't look right, and she's sure in the hell when she moves, it looks robotic, and when she's talking, it's like watching an Asian martial arts film. You know what
Like it's dubbed
I mean?
over.
Azura.
Yeah, it's dubbed
It's like
over.
it's like I'm going to beat you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like what? What is that? You know what I mean? But
Yeah, you have to have
man,
like the inflections in the eyes and in the face, and
oh
it's
Mhm.
not just the mouth movement, but also like it's interesting because there's this old thing that's existed in games and animation for a long time called the uncanny valley effect. And there's something in us, and this is why Pixar makes the movies the way they do, and a lot of animation studios make stuff the way they do. It's like, okay, we're gonna do a human, but we're not gonna make them look realistic. And if you think of movies like The Polar Express, or there's some other animated movies out there that try to go more for realism, there's this element of us where if you get too close to realism, it starts to become uncanny because we're starting to look for things that make it inflections that make it real, but these characters
wow.
don't have them. You know, so it's like, well, your brain's going, this should be a real human, but they're not. And that uncanny valley effect, the reason it makes us feel so uncomfortable and go, I don't really like this, is because we think it's alien, right? We think it's somebody else
Wow.
trying to be like us. And so for the longest time in animation, especially AI animation, it's existed in that uncanny valley where it was close enough, but not close enough. So then it's like, something's off here. It's like a robot trying to imitate a human. And now we're starting to get to that point where if you've listened to the voice enabled stuff, the new stuff's rolling out for GPT voice. I watched this clip of this guy tell it to count to 100 as fast as possible, and it stopped 2 times in there to take breaths. It's an
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI. It's not
Yeah.
taking breaths, but it knows a human would take breaths here. If I don't take breaths and just read off 100, 1 to 100, they're going to go, well, yeah, of course a robot could do that.
Yeah,
But you
but
add the
plus
breaths in there, and now you're like,
your
if I was
mind
on
is
the phone
following
with it,
along
I
with
wouldn't
it.
know.
Yeah, plus your mind's following along with it, and your mind goes, I would have to take a breath here.
Right.
Yes.
It's the same feeling we feel when someone goes underneath water. You're watching a Tom Cruise movie and a person goes
You're like
underwater, and
holding your breath.
everyone that watches it goes like this. He jumps in the water, and we all go,
And then how long is he underwater for that whole sequence?
Yeah.
Okay, he's under the water for 12 minutes.
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
hold my breath for 12
And then
minutes?
all of a sudden the fear and anxiety comes in because you're going like, this dude's gonna drown.
Right.
Greg,
Craig,
you
do you
got
have
a last
anything?
word?
Yeah. Do you want to share
Actually,
before we?
yes. I mean, I want to kind of piggyback on what Robert you were saying, and Matt, before we got onto this last little bit here. Um, and the other thing that you got to learn about is how to give yourself grace. You are learning something uh, that you probably don't know, or you're trying to get to a level or a goal of something that is maybe not, it's something you want, but you don't know how to get there. And so you got to understand that you're going to go through these valleys, that you're going to have successes, but keep that goal in mind to keep moving forward to it. Yeah, I mean, we would love for it to be a straight line,
Yeah.
but it's not. And I know that I've had to constantly remind myself, hey, I've got this in mind. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then all of a sudden, it's like somebody throws up this little roadblock or this little pebble in the road that's going to, sprain my leg. And I'm like,
Right.
no, no, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I've got to this point. I maybe made an error here. I learned. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick up where I lost what I had and move forward. And
Yeah.
you've shown that, Robert, through your 37 plus now almost 38 years of doing exactly what you've done to become a millionaire mentor.
I'm too stupid to give up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's refreshing, first of all, because it gives others, like people who have an optimistic outlook on life, hope. Yes, have you stumbled? Many times. You are an example. You are a documented person. You have gone through this. Have we in various stages? Yes, whether it
Yeah.
was school, whether it was something we wanted to do, whether we're an athlete, whether we're as an actor, a performer, a person who loves AI and has developed it. Matt, what you said too. What was it like back then 3 months ago? Okay. Now look at what's happened to this point in time. Okay, it didn't look good then. Now it looks better. And now
Yep.
you're learning about how to do it now. So it's a process that we
Right.
all have to go through, and we are sowing those seeds, we are collecting those seeds, we're reinforcing those seeds, we're planting them, we're caring for them, we're nurturing them. One may grow, one may not. Okay, so you got to try to keep figuring out what's going to be the best, and eventually you figure out what is the best for you, and you will get there. And this
Yeah.
this that's what I loved about
Yeah.
this podcast is it goes through that whole thing, and we it's so much appreciated, Robert. You being that guide for all of us. You've experienced this all. Yeah, and
Yeah, if I wasn't willing to forgive and forget the past,
yeah,
and forgiveness is not for other people, it's for you. And you just gotta, yeah.
please, yes,
Uh,
Robert.
Forgiveness is not for other people, it's for you. I love the phrase that if you're holding stuff against other people and other events and other situation, you're getting revenge on that trauma and that injustice and that wrongness. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get back at them by poisoning yourself. So what you got to do is forgiveness is for you to move on. It doesn't mean that you're condoning what someone or some event did to you. It's not. It's for you to say, listen, I'm not going to live my life like this anymore. And I'm going to get out of the rear view mirror and I'm going to start focusing and looking out the windshield. you know, for those of you that drive, it'd be very stupid for you to spend your 100% of your eye contact in the rear view mirror. That is not going to come out very good. And some of you know people that live lives like that. And so, me personally, I know it sounds weird, but I'd adjust all the mirrors so I couldn't see out of them. That's the way you're taught in racing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but when you learn to race professionally and you got a professional expert driver next to you and you're going around a corner, they will reach out and move your helmet. So you're driving and you go into a turn and they'll push your helmet because you need to be focused on where your car's going. Your car's not there yet. So the people that get in an accident, they turn and they feel like it's losing control and they look at the telephone pole or the tree. Is that crazy? So you're driving, and soon as I learned to race motorcycles. And listen to this. See, this is what people won't trust an expert. So I'm going around a left corner and I'm on the back of the bike with him. And he goes, watch this. I'm going to make a left-hand turn. So I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to push on the steering wheel, the handlebars. If you take your right hand and push, you're going to go left. And he goes, no, I'm going to push on this one. And when I do, I'm going the opposite direction. And when I push, the bike leans down. So you're going into a left-hand turn, 60, 70 miles an hour, and you're using your hand and you push the opposite way that you're turning, and the bike lays down, and you see these people rubbing their knee and their shoulder around a corner. And it's like, I'm getting chills right now. So how do you tell your mind that a left turn that you need to take your other hand and push it the opposite direction to lay the bike down? Because if you don't, the bike goes straight. You go straight on a corner, you're off the cliff.
Yeah. That's how I was told to learn how to ski. It's instead of leaning back, you got to lean forward. I still have to trust myself to do that. Of course, I haven't gone skiing since I learned that aspect either.
Everything. It's
Oh,
always the opposite of what our mind thinks. Weapons. Yeah. Balance beam.
balance beam. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And it is cool to be able to see, and you can
Belief
get
factor
pretty
and the
good.
fact that she's practiced also
Yeah.
because she believes it'll come her way.
And then the other part is actually seeing someone else do it. So now you
Yeah.
know it's possible.
Yeah, because
So
she's going to what is it? Entice others to do it. She's set the bar up higher. It's a lot of these things like in ice skating, for example, how many people thought you could go around 3 times? Great. Now everybody does 3 times. Ah, let's do 4. So they're doing 4 spins in the air. Oh my God, when we go to 5, holy cow, it's incredible. But people are raising the bar, as we like to say.
I know we talked about I know we talked go ahead. Again, say that again. Yeah, right. Yeah, now for you to win a gold medal, you have to do the things that are named after the people that did them.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
yeah.
I cannot believe this, guys, but I just realized my thing was muted for that whole thing I just said. But
Oh,
ouch.
no.
Yeah, because the dogs were freaking out, so I had to
You
mute
you
it.
you
So
gotta you gotta always remember, you always gotta remember that we can't hear it, man. That microphone is so direct on your mouth.
yeah, yeah. So if anyone
Yeah.
missed what I just said a bunch of really cool stuff. I'll say
Go
it
ahead. You wanna
again.
repeat it?
No, no, I was just saying like humanity hasn't even hit the peak at which it can go. Like when you think and you watch the Olympics and you watch these things and we're inventing AI and we're pushing into all these different and brand new realms. We're not even at the point yet where we've hit in the peak of where we could be,
Right.
humanity, and you're inventing new things that could bring us to space or learn more about the human mind. There's so much we don't even understand about ourselves yet or where we can go. And that's just a testament to like, yeah, the levels are still not maxed out yet. Like
Right.
the thing's going to 11, right? It's like, yeah, we're still not even at the point where we know what that bar is. And every single time they go, oh, the human body's not capable of doing that, they're wrong.
Right.
So whether it's healing itself or whether it's figuring out the mind, we go into many different areas, placebo, all different kinds of things like this. We're still not even aware of what we're capable of. So, I think this has been a great podcast. And
Yeah.
actually, what I love about this podcast is that we've had a couple where we've talked about stuff and they've kind of dived into the negative, but I felt like this whole entire positive podcast has been nothing but positive. And I
Yep.
love when that happens because
Yes.
when we get off of these, I just feel like inspired to get to work and start doing the things that
Yeah.
I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So
And
thank
and
you
my
guys so
last
much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt, and thanks, Craig. And my last word, and Craig can close it out, is not only is Matt right on about every one of us can see on a day-to-day basis how everything in our life is better than it was before. There's still this group of people that keep saying, and words are true if you believe them. Henry Ford said it best, as he said, if I gave people what they wanted, they would have stronger and faster horses that lasted longer. I invented the car instead.
Right.
And it's like, I think that each and every one of you are listening to this in closing is, in your heart, your spirit, your soul, whatever you call it, every one of us, when we beat ourselves up the most, is we know that we're capable of more. There's not a person that will ever listen to this live or recorded where you go, damn, damn, I know I could do more. I know I could make a bigger impact. I know I could do better for myself and the people that I love. I know I could help more. There's not too many people that I run into that believes that they peaked.
Right.
This is all there is. There's a lot of people that are just going, I can tell by watching movies and Netflix that there's some people that actually figured some shit out. They seem to have just a little
Well,
better lifestyle than mine. And it could all be just with one word, is the ability to be free. Truly, truly, truly free. When you wake up, when you're done sleeping, you make a decision of what you're going to do at that moment and for the rest of the day. At that moment, you don't have any plans. You get to focus on doing shit that you want to do that gives you joy and fulfillment. It's not that you got to do something that everyone tells you got to do. We all know that there's a higher potential to each and every one of us, and you just got to believe that you can. And you hang around people that inspire the shit out of you.
right.
And so, Craig, you go ahead and close her out.
You can follow Robert Hollis at roberthollis.com. Also, if you'd like to join our exclusive community, the Inner Circle and Imaginators, you can join us by going to roberthollis.com/join to register. There will be lots of great exclusive content, and you'll be able to participate in our special breakthrough sessions to help you move on to the next level. Please don't forget to like and share this video on YouTube and elsewhere with others. It will help us grow our community and reach those with ears to hear. Thank you and shout out to our executive producer and visionary, Matt Hollis. Matt, bless you. Thank you. Also, Robert, bless you. Thank you for being our GPS to success and our guide, our dear mentor and friend. And thank you for joining us today on this Unlimited Wisdom podcast. My name is Craig A. Jackman. Please be good to yourselves, be cash, and until next time, bye for now.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for watching us. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Dad. Love and appreciate you guys. See you later.
You bet.
Love and
Love you
appreciate you.
guys. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Matt. Love you guys. Hey,